Hi, good afternoon. This is Robert Schoenberger, editor of Today's Motor Vehicles for GIE Media, and welcome to the Wenzel Expo 2020 Strong Collaboration Build Strong Solutions panel discussion. Featured on today's discussion are Wenzel, Nikon, and Renishaw. From Wenzel, we have Dr. Heike Wenzel, CEO of the Wenzel Group. From Renishaw, we have Denis Zayia, President of Renishaw USA. And from Nikon, we have Robert Martin, Vice President of Sales at Nikon Metrology. Company overview for Wenzel. Innovation, innovative products and processes are the basis for our success and our drive for the future. Integrity. Integrity is indispensable value for us. That's what we stand for as a family with our name. Reliability. Reliable products and services are the basis for our actions. Customers, partners, and employees can rely on our sustainable corporate strategy. And flexibility. Individually tailored customer solutions enable the maximum successes of our solutions. Our flexibility is based on our unique product portfolio and many years of experience. Renishaw, our mission is to provide leading-edge technology by encouraging innovation to address our customers' needs. Design, manufacture, and supply metrology systems of the highest quality and reliability, enabling dimensional measurement to traceable standards. To strive for total customer satisfaction through superior customer service. And Nikon, or Nikon if you're anywhere other than North America. The broadest range of non-destructive and non-contact inspection solutions available on the market, driving data collection for real-time decision-making. Enable quality to drive the manufacturing process to guarantee the best possible products. As I mentioned, the focus of this discussion is going to be on collaboration and the partnerships that companies have to serve their customers. So I'm going to direct this first question to Dr. Wenzel. Are these sorts of collaborations new, or is it common for companies to work with each other to find solutions for partners?
Well, as Wenzel, our target is to offer our customers the best solutions in the market. And we are convinced that we built the best measuring machines in the market, so the best frames there. But we are honest enough to know that we can't be best in everything in a fast-moving world. So we have always worked with strong partners like Renishaw for the sensor technology. And we expanded this last year, particularly in the optical area, with our partnership with Nikon. So it's very usual for us to work with partners to find the best solution for our customers.
Great, thank you. And Rob, did you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Oh yeah, so this is nothing new for, I'm sure, all the three of us panelists in brands. We pride ourselves in offering the best solution, and we look for the best partner technology to support our add-on efforts, such as a laser scanner. So yes, this is nothing new for us, and these are a couple long-term partners we're speaking together with.
Great. And Denis, did you have anything you wanted to add from the Renishaw side?
Just to echo Rob's statement there, this is decades in the making here. So this collaboration isn't something that just started last year or a few years ago. It's been decades with these entities that are represented today through many different requirements and the provision of solutions to customers' needs. It's nothing new to us. It's like breathing, basically. We'll get into some of the specifics a bit later on, but it's very natural. It comes very natural to us.
Great. Terms like collaboration can be a little generic. So let's talk about specifics. Let's talk about a hypothetical customer. What would a solution look like that uses technology from Wenzel, Renishaw, and Nikon? Or would it make sense to use all three partners on a single application? So let's start from Nikon's point of view. And Rob, what do you have to say about that?
Okay, thank you, Robert, for the question. For Nikon Metrology, this collaboration is the perfect customer solution for Nikon. Today, Nikon no longer in the CMM manufacturing business opens the door for having partners such as Wenzel. A solution collaboration with Wenzel and Renishaw would consist of a Wenzel world-class CMM solution, a Renishaw world-class probing solution, and of course Nikon's best-in-class laser scanning solution. We carry, we can be very confident to provide an outstanding customer solution using these partners as well as customer experience. And one other thing I'd like to add is our mutual support teams share in our partnership and relationships. You know, this is just not the commercial or the executive management side. Our tech teams are passionately working together to provide customers with a seamless support. And so surely, you know, this collaboration makes great sense for Nikon today.
Great. And Dr. Wenzel, if you could share some thoughts, imagining that hypothetical customer, how would you integrate equipment from all these different companies into a solution?
Well, I think Rob already said the most important thing. We combine the world-class solutions from everybody and bring it together to the best solution we can offer to the customer. So it makes for sure sense to bring these three technologies together, because there are many applications where you need tactile and optical sensors to find the right, to measure the product that is needed, and of course you need a good frame as a base. So I think that's a standard solution for the market.
Now, when I think of OEMs, especially automotive OEMs, but also in other industries, they enjoy having the best technology, but there's always concern when you bring in partners. I've had one company describe this as they want one throat to choke if anything goes wrong. They don't want to have to trace down various partners. So how do you manage that, having a single point of contact when you're dealing with multiple partners? Dr. Wenzel, let's start with you on that one.
Well, that's exactly our role in such a project. We are the single point of contact to our customer. We take care of the integration of all technologies so that the customer has the optimal solution at the end. And his advantage is he has the support from all technology experts, because we bring everybody on board who is necessary, but he is still one contact person who takes care of everything. I think that's exactly our role in this. Wenzel takes care of everything and brings the right partners together and the technologies.
And Denis, you've had some experience with this on the Renishaw side. How do you balance being a supplier with the need to offer support?
Very much as Dr. Wenzel indicated. Again, I go back to history. It's been decades of doing it this way, but I would argue that you have the single point of contact from the communication standpoint, but to emphasize, you're actually getting a significant amount of additional support. Yes, you're getting the experts representing each of the products represented, but you're not only getting, in this case, the Wenzel support, but you're getting the Renishaw support, the Nikon support, as the case may be. And it works very fluidly. This isn't something that sounds good on a piece of paper, but if you look at all the accounts out there globally, that's how we work together. That's how we've always worked together. And it's no different to when one buys an automobile. You buy a Ford car, and it may have a Bose sound system in it. When something goes wrong with the Bose system, you're contacting your Ford dealership, your Ford mechanic, but they can fall back on the Bose support. You know, so it's how we go to market, and when you touch base with the customers, those places that we've provided solutions to problems, it's a very collaborative approach, and you're actually getting a significant amount of additional resource. And the communication side of things, that's very easy. It's the integrator. In this case, it's Wenzel. That's where the communications go through. But because of that history of partnership and collaboration, we assist them when required. Very fluid.
To take that analogy a little further, if I own a Ford and I have a problem with the sound system, I might not contact Bose, but I'm sure Ford will be contacting Bose. So having that that relationship between those two companies is critical.
Exactly the point. Yes.
So Rob, if you could talk about that a little bit, just the need to maintain the open lines of communication and the the cross support in these sorts of partnerships? How do you do that, and how important is that?
Well, of course, I'd like to first address the OEMs who or companies who are looking for one throat to choke. You know, as these three brands, we are passionate about providing the best solutions and the best support. You know, some people say what's most important is what happens to our customers after they buy something. And I can assure you that any collaboration that I've had throughout my career with Wenzel and Renishaw and a few others have been seamless. And it all starts with the solution provider passion and commitment. We're not just selling stuff, we're selling solutions, and we make it easy to work with us. So people buy from people that make it easy to work with you. So that would be my addition.
Great, thank you. Moving on to the next topic, there's a lot of talk about using collaboration and partnerships to adapt to market needs. With many companies offering new manufacturing technology and new solutions, working together can bring new systems to market faster. How can you use that ability to adapt to changing market needs, especially in these difficult times? Let's, if we could start with Denis on that one.
Right. So having the multi-disciplined approach, having the different technologies represented, allows us to be flexible. If you look at some of the areas that we've worked right now where things are shifting is, as an example, getting more information along the manufacturing chain, getting more information, not at the end, not at the beginning, but all during the process. So there's places that we've worked together to interrogate data along the manufacturing chain. So we shift as things shift from combustion engine to EV, as an example. We reevaluate the technology. It allows us to be very flexible and nimble as the technology changes. We go with it. Again, from a very collaborative approach. Here's the problem now. Here's the new problem that's been introduced. Here's the solution. So that's, you know, this ability to adapt is the world that we're in right now, isn't it? When you look at global supply chains, when you look at component changes, when you look at all this sort of stuff, it's that ability to adapt to that that's key here. And having strong partners representing different disciplines is what gives you the edge.
And Dr. Wenzel, when I think about adaptation, I think of what we're dealing with right now as companies that are having to figure out new ways of doing things, automation, working offline, monitoring remote processes seems to be more important than ever. So can you talk a little bit about how, in partnering with Renishaw and Nikon and other partners, how that allows you to help customers in these times?
Well, I would say, as Denis said, everybody from us is an expert in his discipline and have his own experience out of various projects. And if we bring this together on one table and discuss it, we'll find we are even stronger and can provide even better solutions for our customers in this really fast-moving world. And everybody brings his expertise inside and can concentrate on what he's good in, and then we can be much faster than, because we are working and we are offering complex systems, complex solutions, and you can't be evaluate everything and in every discipline you can't be the best. But if we bring all the experts with all the experience together at one table, we will provide the best solutions for the market.
Right. Looking at these partnerships, there are a lot of benefits that sound like are very clear in the market. What are some of the challenges on making a partnership like this work? If we could go over to Rob, if you could talk a little bit about what makes this difficult to do. Why don't we see more of this?
Well, of course. So contrary to what some might believe, the challenges are in fact few. We do not traditionally compete versus each other, Nikon, Wenzel, and Renishaw. However, we have respectively other partners, of course, and this would be the only challenge that might appear. I might be competing against ABC company with a Renishaw probe or something like that, but we're not an exclusive partnership to each other, but we are very passionate and supportive. So I'd say the confidence we have in each of these brands are at the very highest level. And a couple of things I'd like to add is, and briefly mention, our teams get along, our commercial teams as well as our technical teams. You know, we offer each other leads where our respective brand solutions may not be the right fit for the customer or the opportunity. We support each other in trade expos, technical days, open houses. And, you know, truth be told, as Denis had alluded to, we've been friends for many years, and some of us, Denis, many, many years, correct?
Yes,
So,
indeed, yeah.
you know, about bringing new ideas to the market, Nikon Metrology would look to Wenzel and Renishaw as extremely strong partners for technical and solution collaboration. The challenges are few, but working together with these folks have been, like I said, it's easy to do business together.
And Denis, you've worked with Rob for many, many years. Do you have anything you'd like to add to that about any challenges?
I mean, it's like any other organization, even your own internal organization. The challenges are, you know, a company or an individual has a vision, and it's up to you to get buy-in to that vision. So, you know, everybody has different levels of resource and that sort of thing. So sometimes maybe the prioritization of this sensor versus that sensor or that sort of thing, but that's just like it is within your own company. So typically what happens is there's a problem that's been identified at a customer. There's collaboration on the solution. There's discussion about resource availability, bang for buck, you know, the financials. Just like you would do within your own organization is the same thing that we do when we collaborate. Is we identify the problem, we take a look at the commercials, we take a look at the technicals, we take a look at the time frames, and then you know we strategize, we compromise, we do all those sorts of things that you would do just like in any organization. You have your marketing team, you have your engineering team, you have your accounting team. It's that sort of a collaboration. Then from that has come a very successful track record of some significant solutions that involve all three of the entities represented here. So again, that's sort of the pattern with us is identify the problem, get together, figure out the solution, and then deliver and support.
Dr. Wenzel, you've mentioned several times the importance of bringing the best people in the field to focus on what they're very good at. How do you identify those? How do you choose the best partners to work with as the machine provider? How do you choose the best technologies, and what do you look for in a partner?
Well, the first thing that is very important for us is that our partner can offer a recognized excellent technology that brings added value to our customers that we can't bring to it. So because we want to provide, as I said several times, the best solution for the customer, so we want to add value with the partnership. So it must be a unique technology like the 5-axis technology, for example, the Revo technology from Renishaw. This brings really added value to our frames. I think this is one important thing. And the other thing is, which is always, of course, a challenge, what we already discussed in these partnerships, it's very important that you have a long-term, reliable partnership. This is very essential. It can only work because at the end we need systems that are well integrated, and we need a good coordination between the different technologies. So therefore, fair communication is very important. So you need really trustable partners. And of course, there should not be a competitive situation. It's important that you can trust 100% in your partner. And this is the most important thing for us. We are a family-owned business. It's all about reliability. It's all about long-term partnerships. So we don't choose just partners. We want relationships, long-term relationships with trustable people that bring best technology to our machines.
And Dennis, so you work with multiple partners as well.
Yep.
What do you look for when you're collaborating? What are some of the qualities you look for in partners?
Well, as far as qualities, it's all the usual. It's the integrity, the communication, the history, the relationship, all that sort of thing. But I think one thing that's significant too when choosing technologies, to your question, is that first and foremost, we're a world-class manufacturer of components. And we manufacture a huge majority of our products in the United Kingdom and Ireland. And we're able to compete with labor rates around the world. And one of the reasons is for our own manufacturing facilities, we pick and choose or develop that technology which makes the most sense. That technology that provides, throughput, quality, all that sort of thing. So first and foremost, we're a manufacturer and we're a user of this kit. We have Wenzel machines, we have Nikon product, we have all that stuff. So that allows us to be in a rather unique position of not only being a user of our own kit and our partners' kits, but also to evaluate and understand and appreciate. Going back to who we work with and all that sort of thing. Again, I think we're a bit unique in that we work with everybody, including our competitors. Oddly enough, many of our different types of sensor technology and all that kind of stuff are actually supported by those that compete with us. But going back to sort of let's say the Division One collaborative team as represented here, I keep saying the same thing, but there's decades of history, and it has to be based on trust. It has to be based upon communication. It has to be based on credibility, integrity, all those words that get thrown out, because if that had not been the case from the beginning, we wouldn't be sitting here decades later having these discussions, would we? So it's a proven track record.
Thank you. And Rob, again, you just what are you looking for when it's time to partner with another company on a project?
Well, first and foremost, like my panelists have also said, quality products. When you look at our logos, you know it's quality. Also, the fact that you only your trust is only accepted by your actions and your responsibility to doing what you say what you do. It's the old adage of just follow up, care, passion for great solutions and great partnerships. These three partners here on the panel today, we have that together, and we're very passionate about it.
Wonderful, thank you. So going on to the next question here, how do you earn that level of trust? There's been a lot of discussion here of the years that you've worked together, but how do you develop the trust needed on the to collaborate on early stage technologies? What do you have to do to maintain that trust throughout the long years of these relationships? Let's go back to Dennis for this one.
Well, I think it's kind of what I touched on before. Is it's the deliverables at the end of the day. When you commit to a project, when you commit to a process, when you commit to a customer that you jointly share, you're there for each other. You're there from a support standpoint. There's an appreciation when the negotiation goes on for new technology, as an example. When you look at the person that's sitting on the other side of the table from you, from Wenzel or from Nikon, you know that they come with a track record. You know that, even when they disagree with you, it comes from experience, knowledge, that sort of thing. We've all known each other for so long. To what Rob said earlier, our engineering teams, our commercial teams, long before Dr. Wenzel, the relationship was with her father who established the company. These relationships, again, go back, the capabilities, the trust, the commitment, all that sort of stuff is, it's been in the works for a very long time.
Thank you. And Rob, do you have anything to add to that about how
Yeah.
you maintain these relationships?
Sure. And, I almost answered this question previously by saying what you're going to do and following up on it. The excitement of anything new or working together on a collaborative opportunity is we know what we're going to get out of these panelists, out of these brands, and we'll get quality, support, and communication. And I think Denis is certainly all over it with his comments.
Perfect. And Dr. Wenzel, do you have anything to add?
Well, I think it's exactly how Denis and Rob said it. We show it every day in the projects that we can trust each other. It's just the experience we have together. It's a personal relationship we have. We know that we choose our partners like this. We know we only choose partners that are trustable, where we have a long-term relationship, where we have open communication, even if we maybe don't like some things, but we talk about things, and that's the key. I think everybody knows the USPs from the other one, and we recognize and we accept and this USPs of each other, and this is very important. And this long-term relationship and just to know each other and that we can trust.
There's an old phrase in the business world that to the man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So when you're looking at these collaborative environments, how do you avoid only considering technologies that you already have in-house instead of looking at what really serves the customer needs? How do you look beyond what's your internal expertise and look for where a partner fits in? Dr. Wenzel?
That's exactly the idea with the partnerships. That's exactly the idea behind, because well, we have a wide portfolio and we can offer a lot to our customers, but it might not always be the best solution for a special case. So therefore it's important for us not to offer only our technology, but to listen to the customer, to look at their needs, to look at the application and the parts they want to measure and what they want to integrate, and then we find the right partner for them and give access to the latest technology solution from our partners for the best solution for the customer application. That's exactly the idea behind these partnerships.
And Rob, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Oh, yeah, sure. And Dr. Wenzel, this is spot on again. And I look at this as if I close my eyes as being a business development manager. And I've been in this business long enough to know that my brand, we don't have all the solutions. But our passion is finding new opportunities for existing products, as well as discovering new products for new marketplaces. And with those comments, I would look at a company, a partner like Renishaw, a partner like Wenzel, to help us invent, discover, supply this to our customers. So it's always about new opportunities for existing products and new products for new markets.
And Denis, do you have anything you'd like to add to this?
Yeah, I think our philosophy when we look at technology in-house versus outside is for us to go in-house, we have to be able to deliver something that's game-changing, an overused phrase perhaps. But if you look at our portfolio, many things in our catalog, if not most things in our catalog, never existed before. So they came out before anybody else had it. So it has to be leapfrog. There has to be big differentiation. But as we keep saying, you can't be everything to everybody. So we take a look at technology, we evaluate, and if there isn't something that's a significant enhancement or something completely different to offer, then it's best that we go to the experts. In the case of Nikon, in the case of Wenzel with different offerings. A classic example of that, there's a lot of talk about coordinate measuring machine technology, but we are also very much involved in the additive, the 3D printing metals business, and a CAT scan solution is required. A C scan solution is required, and CT scan, sorry, solution is required. And who better to partner with, than Wenzel? So what we find ourselves in these relationships now is we're delivering solutions versus just CMMs. As we've all expanded our portfolios, is we're working so much closer now on many different levels that we didn't initially, branching out to full solutions to requirements for manufacturers. And the gauging world, the 3D printing world, the absolute CMM measurement world, we're collaborating on many different levels, and we have no plans to develop a CT scanner at this point. So why not go with those that have expertise in that area, that arena?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the market, as we're going through things right now, there's so many new products and services available. It can seem overwhelming at times. And so when you're going through these processes, how do you, with so many new systems and processes coming to market, how do you evaluate everything that could be useful to your clients? Let's stick with Denis on this one.
Right, going back to what I said earlier, is obviously we're a manufacturer, so we're always evaluating our own as well as others' technology. It can get overwhelming and that sort of thing, but really it's the focus on the customers, it's the focus on the manufacturers and identifying those problems. Cliche as it may sound, instead of just selling things, we provide solutions to problems, and in the identification of those problems, it allows you to sort of take a path of evaluation. Is there something in-house that can deal with this problem? Do your partners have something that can deal with the problem, or do we have to go, as what Rob alluded to earlier, do we have to go outside of that circle as well? But I think with each of us being a manufacturer as well, we're constantly, continually evaluating what's out there.
And Dr. Wenzel, again, the same question. With so much coming to market, how do you identify what could be useful to your clients?
I think one key is that we have open discussions and exchange of information, not only with our appreciated partners to know what is the best or useful solution for the market, but also with our customers. We have also, and we have normally long-term relationships also with our customers, and ask them what they need. We discuss the points, we show them the latest technology and evaluate together with them what is the best solution and what would be useful for them in the future. And then we can discuss this again with our partners to develop the things that are needed in the market. So it's all about open discussions and evaluating with the customers and with the partners what the future would look like and what were the best solutions.
And Rob, same question to you. How do you evaluate all the technologies coming to market and find what's the best fit?
Well, it's certainly a challenge. The Nikon Metrology Corporation, we are streamlining our product solutions currently. We're looking at measuring from nanometers to jumbo jets with various technologies in between. And, you can't be best in class at everything. And so we are, in fact, streamlining our offerings. And should there be a situation where a customer is in need of something, we would go outside to these partners on the panel today, as well as some of our other partners, to provide at least info share of the technology. This is quite the challenge nowadays, because there are so many different solutions out there in the metrology world.
Thank you. Speaking of these competitive pressures and the new technologies, you all collaborate in some areas, but you also sometimes compete with your own partners. How do you balance the benefits of partnership with the need to develop competitive technologies in-house and maintain that technical superiority that your customers are looking for? Dr. Wenzel, let's start with you.
Oh, that's a good question. Because this is, of course, a challenge. But I think this is, if we all concentrate on our USPs, and the USPs of everybody is clearly defined and recognized among the partners, we can come across with this challenge. From my point of view, if you look at our panel, we are the best CMM manufacturers in the market. Renishaw is the best supplier of probe technology, and Nikon is recognized as the expert in the field of optical sensors. So if every partner concentrates on its strengths, it's for our own benefit and especially for the benefit of the customer. It's all about respect for each other and each other's technology, I think.
Thank you. And Denis, I'd imagine this is particularly challenging for Renishaw times, because as you mentioned earlier, you compete with just about everyone you also partner with. How do you balance those two pressures?
Yeah, I think that we don't compete. I think that's a bit strong the way it's been presented, that we compete with everybody that we partner with. I think the point earlier was because our sensors, you know, to our opinion and our customers' opinion, are game changing and all that sort of stuff that come with the support and the history and all that, our competitors do frequently use our products. But that doesn't mean that it's a collaborative approach with our partners. So there are areas where at times there are gray areas and that sort of thing. There's the hypothetical, would this cause problems? And then there's the reality of how it's worked so far, is that, again, re-echoing those themes of through discussion, through trust, through whatever, through identifying the solution, that the problem that the customer has and providing that solution, who's best to put their foot forward. So, you know, as in any relationship, there's times where there's things fall into a bit of a gray area, but through discussion, through trust, through what is the best solution for the customer is the solution that comes out in the end. So we are very unique because, you know, even at a distributor level, we have distributors that they might be stitched to us as allies when it comes to the CMM type of products, but they compete with us from the machine tool side of things. So if that relationship, those relationships where you understand each other, where in these areas we may have to compete a bit, but in these areas, you know, we're together, that's just the way it works. That's just natural. But if you have the best of this, to Dr. Wenzel's point earlier, if you have the best of the absolute measurement, you have the best of the sensor, you have the best of the optical, it's rarely going to be a problem, is it?
Thank you. And Rob, you mentioned that Nikon is streamlining and focusing its product lineup right now. So again, the same question, as you're looking to collaborate in some cases and partner in others, how do you balance those challenges, especially as you go through and focus your product offerings?
Yes, well, on top of what Denis had mentioned, the good news for Renishaw is I'm going to say about 98% of the people want Renishaw probing systems on whatever color CMM they're buying or retrofitting. And so kudos to them. They have been best in class throughout my whole career. With regards to partnerships and competing, we're in the market of laser scanning, and I'd like to sell as many as I can. I certainly have plenty of favorite OEM partners, but the collaboration, it's all about the respect and the trust that we've earned by our mutual action. What is it? Uh-oh.
Rob, we can't hear you.
So
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. There was some noise in the background. I muted myself. I'm sorry. Let's go back to the question here. Was if we could just go into some anecdotes here, some stories you might have from these partnerships. Can you share the first time you remember working with partners to put together a custom solution for a customer?
Hmm.
And Dr. Wenzel, if we could start with you.
Well, I can't remember a special case, to be honest, because all our projects we are working together with partners. At least we are using Renishaw as probe systems. So there are no special cases, but it's all in all our projects. We take the challenge to find the best solution for the customer and combining the products. From our partners. So that's standard for us. That's nothing special. It's all our projects work like that.
All right, thank you. Dennis, do you remember any time that you a special project that really sticks out in your mind?
Yeah, just to echo, I mean, it's every time you come up with unique solutions, it pushes the products forward. But I remember sort of early on here, there was a challenge in body and white inspection for automotive where there were a couple of requirements for very long extended reach on a sensor and a what we call the servo positioning head. And equally, the requirement was to introduce multi-sensor technology, so tactile measurement, scanning technology, and optical technology. And something that was required by the automotive people in body and white, it simply didn't exist. So there was collaboration on the front end, and we had about 12 months to deliver a product. And the software people, the CMM people, the optical people all sort of came together and developed in that 12-month period a product called PHS, servo positioning head, that's in use today for body and white. This is years ago. You know, the collaboration that we've done with the multi-sensor stuff. You know, I need the Nikon sensors on here. We've had to adapt our own, you know, transport systems, our own heads to accommodate improving throughput in blocks and heads and blisks and all that sort of thing. Required a lot of collaboration between ourselves and Wenzel in order to take a head that basically is infinitely positional. In effect, it can take thousands of data points a second. Back at a time when most indexing heads were 2.5 degrees, 7 degrees, that sort of thing. So as Dr. Wenzel said, we can sit here all day long and pinpoint things where we delivered solutions to problems that have significantly changed the way that manufacturers do things today in aerospace, in automotive, in medical. It's just a continuous process. It sort of stitches together everything we've discussed today, and we continue to do that.
Thank you. Thank you. And Rob, did you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Yes, Nikon is no longer in the CMM manufacturing business, but I do recall perhaps the single biggest game changer in the metrology CMM industry was in fact the Revo head from Renishaw. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Wenzel and Nikon were the first two CMM manufacturers to collaborate directly with Renishaw. And to this day, that solution, that Revo head, is still the game changer in CMM data acquisition. And so that is one of my most memorable working collaborations in my career, surely.
So we have a question here from the audience for Denis. Looking toward the future, what new projects are you excited about to work with Wenzel?
Quite a few, actually. Obviously, we're always further developing the range of different types of heads and sensors. You know, there's all kinds of work with the optical non-contact side of things. We've recently gotten together and delivered surface finish type technology, which goes on our Revo systems. We've partnered with Wenzel on the gauging side of things. As you're looking at manufacturers, they're looking to make changes to their manufacturing processes during the manufacturing chain, or in, somewhere along the line. So we've partnered with them with their software, as an example, on some of our what we call our equator gauge lines, to give in-process type information quickly, and make adjustments to your manufacturing processes instead of waiting at the very end and basing your changes on post-processing. So as I was saying earlier, there's not just from a sensor standpoint, but from the full industrial solution standpoint. We're working together on sensors, heads, gauges, you name it.
Looking big picture for a moment here, instead of focusing just on partnerships, let's just talk briefly about what's coming up in metrology. If I'll go through the whole panel here, but starting with Dr. Wenzel, you just talk about what are some, how do you see the market developing in the very near term, the next 6 to 18 months? What sort of near-term demands are you seeing for your products and services, and how do you expect that to change in the short term?
Well, we see a real trend that the machines move from the quality department, or from quality rooms to the shop floor. So shop floor technology is needed. That's why we're offering special machines for this environment, which are more robust, which can handle different temperature ranges and things like that. This is a clear trend we are seeing, because you want to be faster, you want to be you want to have the results earlier in the production process. So this is something that we already see, and this will come more, I think. And coming with this, automation is a very important point. We need to bring our measuring machines in line in the production, so to integrate it more. So automation systems are very important. They're getting more and more important. And what we also see, and what I also see in the near future, is a kind of hybrid technology, which means, to combine tactile and optical technologies to optimize or to find the right optimization between accuracy and speed. And that's a challenge, and we are working on this every day. And I think this is something which will be necessary in the near future and in the coming months and years.
And Rob, your thoughts again for this next 6 to 18 months? What are you seeing in the metrology world? What are you hoping to see?
Well, what we're seeing, experiencing, and providing currently is the demand for automated metrology. Checking and verifying quality in and near production is paramount to today's manufacturers. In today's manufacturing climate, all manufacturers, the way we see it, is they have to do three things to maintain reasonable margins, good business practices in these very competitive times. And the first thing they have to do today is manufacture the finest quality they've ever made. The number two thing, as we see it, is they have to do it faster than they've ever done it before. And the third item would be they have to do the top two things, expanding and using fewest resources. So the solution is truly automation, measuring it, verifying it where you make it in the production line. And we are seeing this as a very near term. Aircraft, they'd like to make jumbo jets like they make cars. That line doesn't move very fast, but you bring the automated metrology to those builds to increase your throughput. So it's a vital need in today's market.
And Dennis, your thoughts again for the next, what are you seeing in the next 6 to 18 months?
Echoing what the others said, when you look at this pandemic and what it's caused, automation obviously is something that everybody's talking about. The skill set, we've got to deal with a skill set situation where the processes that you have in place, the equipment that you have in place, can't be just for your higher end skill set to run. Throughput, obviously, as we ramp up and perhaps storing throughput, supply chains around the world, all these sorts of things. Echoing what Rob said about automation and throughput and all that, but you have to do it without sacrificing quality as well. So that's where all this quality kit comes into place. Flexibility in manufacturing, switching from combustion engine to EV, overnight in effect. Flexibility from plant to plant to plant. This plant shuts down doing aerospace, but now it's doing power generation parts. To shift things around is going to be key. The thing about us, though, is that this is kind of what we've always done. If you look at the number of people that run our processes in our manufacturing plants back in England and Ireland, it's what we've done for a long time. How is it that a company like ourselves can remain there with those labor rates and all those other things, but still compete with things that are made overseas in Asia or wherever else? And it's because those types of things and those people that we partner with allow us to do that. But you're gonna see the automation side of things. You're gonna need that flexibility. And then the final thing, which Dr. Wenzel alluded to earlier, which is key, and it's key to our process, is not just understanding what comes out of this at the very end of the manufacturing chain, but all along the way. So this grabbing of data and analyzing the data is one thing, but it's actually reacting to the data during the process that's key. So as you start seeing some variables, some errors come into the whole chain there, you make adjustments in real time to them. Everybody wants 1,000 bits of information about what's going on in their plant, but the way we look at it is maybe it's these 10, 15 of the variables that are key to controlling the process, and focus on those and ensure that you avoid making scrap versus making scrap and then analyzing it later and all that kind of stuff. So the automation side of things, dealing with the skill set, the flexibility of manufacturing, the throughput, and then just a much, much, much better understanding of the processes and what the data is telling you and adjusting to it. That's kind of what we see.
Thinking longer term, the big picture, long-term view of where metrology is going. I think, Dennis, you touched on this a little bit. When I think of Industry 4.0 or Industrial Internet of Things and tracking and connecting more, gathering more information, connecting more data points, this is a metrology issue. This is measuring more information and finding ways of making it useful. Dr. Wenzel, when you think long-term and how you're going to support this need for richer data in the manufacturing floor, what are some trends you see developing past that 18-month period, thinking more long-term?
Well, together with a trend that the machines go to the shop floor, and what we already discussed, also the people that are using our machines are changing. So it's important that we can get things easier and use it easier. So what will be a new trend and what's very important, I think, long-term, is the ease of the use, ease of programming the machines and the solutions, and also, as Denis already mentioned, the ease of analyzing data. At the moment, we are all collecting data during the process, but it will be more and more important to analyze this data to react faster and in the production process, and to adapt the machines or whatever is needed faster than in the past. I think this is very important for the future, for the longer future.
I think Denis has mentioned several times already the workforce part of that here in North America, especially. We have such a large group of very experienced machinists getting very close to retirement, finding ways of capturing that expertise and making things easier to use, as you say, is going to be very critical to training these new users on how to best make products. Robert, again, do you have anything to add there? What you're seeing longer term, how you hope to integrate more of this data into the manufacturing process?
Sure. Excuse me. With Industrial 4.0, Nikon has committed to what we support and call our quality 4.0. And there's some attributes that are necessary for this type of communication and data acquisition. The data has to be digital. The data collection has to be automated. You have to be connected so that the fourth variable is it has to be shareable so that, as Dennis was talking about, this is about controlling process. You know, somebody who's using our quality 4.0 opportunities, an automotive manufacturing company is not measuring the fender for quality because they don't put bad fenders on new cars. They're measuring the location of that fender. It's about the process. And with our quality 4.0 and our products that are committed to this, the info share, the data collection and the info share can go back upstream so they can make adjustments as needed. And you're manufacturing quality because you have digital, automated, connected, and shareable information. That's a huge passion of Nikon, Metrology and Nikon Corp. And the other thing is, non-contact data collection, wherever applicable, but most specifically in or near production is what our customers are asking. And the next biggest thing, of course, would be the speedy non-destructive testing, X-ray and CT in near the production environment.
All right, thank you. And Dennis, again, like I mentioned, you've talked a lot about personnel and skills. How important do you think that's going to? How important a role do you think that's going to play longer term?
You raised a really good issue there with the skill set and the transferring on of information to the new generation. And we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes with the tech schools and that sort of thing. So one of the first things is we've got to get the kids re-engaged and excited about manufacturing. There's a lot of work being done behind the scenes to get them going there. But I would also say that what we're also experiencing now is, as long as I've been in this game, there's been this traditional line between the CMM, the metrology people, and the production or manufacturing people. And what you're seeing those lines blur now. And what you're seeing is you come together of those two entities to take a look at the overall process. To Rob's point, instead of having these little fiefdoms, these are the CMM guys, and they always say that the part I made is wrong. And here's the manufacturing guys. You're always making the parts wrong. That sort of thing. Those lines are now, traditional lines are being blurred right now. And so it's an interesting sort of move forward. But as Dr. Wenzel said, it's the ease of use now. It's limiting or reducing the human intervention aspect. If you look at the Revo system as an example that we do with Wenzel, it does surface finish sensing. Prior to that, you'd have to take the part off, or you'd have to have different inspectors come in and take a look at the surface finish, inspect the surface finish, which introduces error. Now, on a Wenzel equipped system with this Revo system with surface finish, and then throw in the Nikon optical with a different head, you're doing all these different checks in one place with limited human intervention. And you're doing it with hopefully easy to use software and that sort of thing. So it's combining all these different technologies, all these different disciplines into a one-stop shop.
Thank you very much. We are just about out of time, so I'd like to thank everyone again for their time and their participation today. Again, thank you, Dr. Wenzel. Thank you to Denis, and thank you to Rob for sharing such great information here today. It's been an interesting afternoon, and again, appreciate everyone attending. Have a good day.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both.